Well, my senior year of high school, I started being contacted by a bunch of different schools. UCLA was my first recruiting trip. Coach Donahue took me into his office, sat me down and offered a scholarship. And he said, if you tell me you're coming, I'm not interested in looking any further. And I said, I think this is the place for me.
McNown escapes for a touchdown.
I signed up and I shook his hand and I ended up signing with UCLA.
It's our signing day special, and the importance of the quarterback cannot be understated. Most recently, Brett Hundley, the five-star recruit, a catalyst in a preseason top 10 ranking heading into last season. A couple of core pieces, and Anthony Barr and Eric Kendricks, huge for the defense. The push continues in Westwood, and it has been a great day for UCLA fans as Jim Mora joins us here on the Pac-12 Networks. Coach, congrats right now. A lot of the scouting and recruiting services have your class as a top 5 class in the country. Before we talk to you, though, about some of those guys, there were some reports that Jeff Ulbrich, your defensive coordinator, was considering an offer to go to the NFL. What's the latest? What can you tell us about a potential move?
Breaking news.
Yeah.
No, Dan Quinn, who's a very good friend of mine, was named the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons and introduced yesterday. And both Dan and I coached Jeff. And so Dan reached out to me late last night and he said, hey, I'd like to ask you permission to talk to Jeff. Well, he doesn't have to ask my permission. In the NFL, you have to get written permission. In college football, you really don't, but I appreciated the courtesy. So Jeff contacted me this morning and said that he'd been offered a job and was contemplating it, had not yet made a decision, has not yet made a decision. And I think the great thing about Jeff is how forthright he's been with our recruits and their families. He's made it a point to reach out to every defensive recruit or every recruit that he actually touched, talk to them and talk to their families so that everything's above board. And, I'm going to fight like heck to keep Jeff Ulbrich here at UCLA, but I've got a worthy competitor in Dan Quinn.
Coach, an incredible finish by you guys. Top running back, top tight end, top center in the country. Recruiting has changed. You guys were on the drive all season long. How have you seen exposure become an integral part of your recruiting, especially within the finish that you guys had today?
I think, Yogi, that the drive was integral in us getting exposure to kids that are out of our region. Young men like Chris Clark, who's a tremendous, tremendous talent from the East Coast, was able to watch us every week. All of our recruits were able to tune in every week to the Pac-12 network and kind of get a behind-the-scenes look at our program, an unfiltered look at our program. Well, maybe we edited it a little bit, huh, Yogi? But
just a bit.
I thought it was great, and today was a fun day, and we filled a lot of needs. But I think the thing that's most impressive for me is the quality of young man that we're bringing here to UCLA. We have a filter that we put these kids through. We have a standard that we like to adhere to, a profile that we try to match up, and I think we've done that today.
Coach, like you mentioned, the country's gotten to see you. I got to be around your program and the ideals and character you guys stand for. But everybody around the country also knows about the receiver that you got to sign, Cordell Brodus, and they probably see his dad in Snoop Dogg, and they saw his reality show. What about this young man don't we know?
Well, here's what you don't know is that when he was a 9th grader, he came to our camp, and I had no idea who he was, but I saw this really well-built 15-year-old kid with, good-looking lower body and shapely calves, and he ran real well, and he took coaching from Coach Yarbs very well, and I called him over during camp, and he didn't look like a 15-year-old to me. I spent some time talking to him, and I offered him on the spot without knowing who he was or what his connection was to his father. Learned later that he was Snoop's son, and really, I think what Snoop and Cordell and that whole family should be most proud of is that Cordell has done it on his own. Sure, he gets some publicity, and he's got the TV show, but he is a very quality young man, and I'm really proud that he's a UCLA Bruin.
And Coach, how about Josh Rosen? I mean, he's perfect at that position. If you're going to build a quarterback, he'd kind of be that. What have you noticed from him being on campus already?
Well, he's really integrated well. He's come in very humble. He's been an excellent teammate. He's gone about earning the respect of his teammates. He's helped us in recruiting. Having a young man in this class that's already on campus that can talk to the recruits about his experience so far at UCLA is very important. I feel a little bit bad for Josh today. Josh is one of the top players in all of the country, and he didn't get all the hoopla that all those others did, here on signing day. But what's great about Josh is that he was around all day. He was excited for everything that was going on. He wants to jump in and help, and I think he's going to be a tremendous asset to this university. I think people in this part of the country are going to love watching him play, and I'm certainly looking forward to getting him on the field and coaching him.
Well, Coach, we can't wait to see the product on the football field. And as far as the spring game, we will have it here on the Pac-12 networks, April 25th. Appreciate you also allowing our cameras behind the scenes all of last season for the drive. I'm glad it actually paid dividends for you with this recruiting class. So continued success.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.